You did not arrive at this message by chance. This is a divine intersection, a moment orchestrated before the foundation of the world, because there is something I need you to see that will completely transform how you understand your story. Right now, I am pulling back the veil between the visible and invisible realms to show you the secret wars I have been waging on your behalf. The disasters I redirected while you slept, and the enemies I defeated before they ever reached your doorstep. If you remain with me through every word of this revelation, you will finally comprehend why that tragedy never touched you, why certain doors slammed shut despite your prayers, and why relationships you desperately wanted to keep were forcibly ended by my hand. But if you walk away now, you will forfeit the single most important understanding about your life, the truth that reframes every loss as protection and every closed road as divine mercy. Let me ask you to consider something you have never thought about before. Do you remember Job, my faithful servant whose story echoes through the ages? What most people miss is not what happened to him, but what I prevented from happening. Satan himself came before my throne demanding permission to destroy Job completely, to kill him, to annihilate his bloodline, to erase his legacy from the earth. But I said no. I drew a line the enemy could not cross. Job never knew that conversation happened. He never saw me standing between him and total obliteration. He only saw what he lost, never what I kept the enemy from taking. And you are just like Job in this way. You see the hardships you endured, but you are blind to the catastrophes I blocked before they could reach you. That business deal that collapsed at the final hour was not failure. It was me shutting down a partnership with someone who had already decided to betray you. That job interview where you felt humiliated and passed over. I saw the toxic environment that would have broken your mental health within 6 months. The relationship you mourned for years, the one where they walked away without explanation. I removed them because I saw the abuse cycle that was forming, the darkness in their heart they had not yet revealed. My child, you have been living in a dimension where you only perceive outcomes, but I exist in the realm where I see trajectories. You see the closed door and call it rejection. I see the path beyond that door and call it catastrophe averted. Here is what I need you to do right now. Type these words in the comments with absolute conviction. God has been shielding me from destruction I never saw coming. When you write this, you are not just leaving a comment. You are making a declaration that opens your spiritual eyes, that aligns your perception with mine. Remember when Elisha and his servant woke to find themselves surrounded by enemy armies? The servant panicked, consumed by what he could see with his natural eyes. The horses, the chariots, the soldiers closing in for the kill. But Elisha remained calm because he could see what the servant could not. So he prayed to me, "Open his eyes so he may see." And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw that the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire, heavenly armies surrounding them, vastly outnumbering the earthly threat. The protection was there all along. The servant just could not perceive it until I allowed him to see beyond the veil. This is your reality every single day. You walk through a world where you can only see the physical dimension. But if I were to open your eyes right now, the way I opened that servant's eyes, you would fall to your knees in awe. You would see the angels I have assigned to your path, the demonic attacks I have turned back, the accidents I have prevented, the schemes I have unraveled. Think about that near miss you had on the highway, the one where time seemed to slow down and you narrowly avoided a collision that should have been fatal. You called it luck. I call it angelic intervention. I had already dispatched help before you even got in the car that morning. Now let me speak truth that will set you free from years of confusion and self-blame. Every closed door in your life has been my hand of protection, not punishment. When I shut a door, no one can open it. When I open a door, no one can shut it. I do not operate randomly. I do not play games with your destiny. Every door I have closed in your face was because I loved you too much to let you walk into a room that would become your prison. That person you wanted to marry who chose someone else, leaving you heartbroken and confused. I saw the verbal abuse that would have started after the honeymoon, the controlling behavior that would have isolated you from everyone who loved you. That city you planned to move to, where everything fell through at the last minute. I saw the violence that was coming to that neighborhood, the economic collapse that would have left you stranded with no support system. If this truth is breaking something open inside you, if you are starting to see your past differently, let me know right now by pressing the like button. That simple action tells me your heart is shifting, your perspective is changing. When you like this message, you also amplify this truth to reach someone else who desperately needs to hear these words today. Do not turn away from this message. Beloved Paul, my apostle who wrote much of the New Testament, begged me 3 times to remove a thorn from his flesh. 3 times he pleaded. 3 times I said no, not because I did not love him, but because I loved him enough to see what he could not. I told him my grace was sufficient, that my strength was perfected in his weakness. That thorn kept him humble, kept him dependent on me, prevented the pride that would have disqualified him from ministry. What he saw as a curse I was using as protection. Some of you have thorns in your life right now that you keep begging me to remove. A situation that will not change, a person who will not leave, a limitation that will not lift. And you think I am ignoring your prayers. But what if that thorn is the very thing keeping you from a destruction you cannot see? What if that limitation is preventing you from walking into a trap of self-sufficiency where you would forget you need me? The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, and they thought it was punishment. But I was doing something in those 40 years they could not see. I was letting an entire generation die off, the generation that still had Egypt in their hearts, the generation that would have compromised the moment they faced opposition. I was raising up a new generation born in the wilderness, trained in dependence on daily manna, prepared for conquest. The delay was not cruelty. It was preparation for a battle they were not yet ready to fight. Your delay is not my rejection of you. It is my preparation of you. Take a moment and write this in the comments. God's delays have been protecting me from entering places I was not ready for. Let those words mark a turning point in how you see your story. Let me address the relationship that still haunts you, the one you cannot seem to move past even though years have gone by. You believed they were the one. You prayed over that relationship. You made plans, built dreams, imagined a future together. And then it ended. Suddenly, brutally, without the closure you deserved. You have blamed yourself. You have wondered if you were not enough. But I need you to hear this with absolute clarity. I ended that relationship, not them. Me. I saw what you refused to see because your emotions had blinded you. I saw the addiction they were hiding with expert precision. I saw the pattern of manipulation and control that was so subtle you would not have recognized it until you were completely enmeshed. David, the man after my own heart, made a catastrophic mistake when he saw Bathsheba and decided to take what was not his. That moment of unchecked desire led to adultery, lies, murder, and consequences that plagued his family for generations. One relationship he should not have pursued changed the entire trajectory of his life. I removed that person from your life not to hurt you, but to save you from a derailment you could not see coming. And I know it still hurts. But I need you to trust that my no was the most loving thing I could have said. Behind my no was a yes to something better, someone better, a future where you are not constantly fighting for scraps of affection from someone incapable of truly loving you. My son, my daughter, I told you through Paul that your struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Every day you are alive, there are assignments against you in the demonic realm. Spirits have been dispatched with specific mandates to steal your peace, kill your destiny, and destroy your faith. But here is what they do not advertise in the kingdom of darkness. They are not fighting you. They are fighting me and you. There have been entire weeks where demonic councils gathered to strategize your downfall, coordinating attacks from multiple angles, hitting your finances, your health, your family, and your mind all at once. But you survived those weeks. You came out on the other side still standing. You thought you were just tough. The truth is, I was your shield, absorbing the blows meant for you, fighting battles in the heavenlies while you slept. If this is opening your eyes to a reality you have never considered before, share this message with someone right now. There is a specific person in your life who is under attack and does not realize it. They think it is just stress or bad luck, Send this to them and become a part of the protection I am extending to their life. Do you remember when Hezekiah became sick to the point of death and I sent Isaiah to tell him to put his house in order? Hezekiah wept bitterly, and I had mercy. I added 15 years to his life. But during those 15 years Hezekiah fathered Manasseh, who became the most wicked king in Judah's history, leading the nation into idolatry and child sacrifice. Sometimes my initial no carries wisdom that our prayers cannot see. Some of you had a sickness that came out of nowhere, forcing you to cancel plans, miss opportunities, stay isolated. You were frustrated by the interruption. But while you were in that bed recovering, there was a gathering you did not attend where a conversation would have pulled you into a toxic business deal. There was a flight you did not take that encountered severe mechanical issues. That illness was my strategic positioning, not an attack I failed to prevent. It was my deliberate placement of you in a safe zone while danger passed by your door. Now I want to address something that has caused you deep pain. The people who left, the friends who became strangers, the mentors who cut ties. You have analyzed these relationships endlessly, trying to figure out what you did wrong. Let me tell you what really happened. I removed them. Even Jesus had a Judas at his table, someone who walked with him for 3 years, witnessed miracles, heard teachings, and still betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. Jesus knew who Judas was from the beginning, and still he allowed Judas to remain until the appointed time. Some of the people you are mourning were Judases. They were at your table, sharing your resources, privy to your secrets, and they were building a case against you, waiting for the opportune moment to betray you. But I saw it. I saw the lies they were preparing to tell about you. I saw the network they were building to turn people against you. And before they could execute their plan, I executed mine. I turned their heart cold toward you. I removed them from your life before they could do the damage they were planning. Write this in the comments and seal this revelation. God removed people who were positioning themselves to destroy me. Declare it. Let it reframe every relationship loss you have suffered. Think about Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, betrayed by the very people who should have protected him. He ended up in prison for years. From a human perspective, it looked like disaster after disaster. But what Joseph could not see was that every closed door, every betrayal, every injustice was positioning him for a throne he never would have reached if everything had gone according to his plan. The promotion that was stolen from him would have made him comfortable but capped. Prison put him in proximity to Pharaoh's butler, which led to rulership over Egypt, which put him in position to save nations from famine. You applied for opportunities you were more than qualified for, and someone less experienced got chosen. Every time you questioned your worth, but what you did not know is that those opportunities would have locked you into situations that looked prestigious, but were actually prisons. That job would have required you to compromise values you hold sacred. That contract would have bound you to people whose ethics would have destroyed your reputation. I said no because I am preparing you for something where you do not have to shrink or beg for recognition. If you have watched this far, it means something in you knows this message is important. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications. The revelations I am releasing here are not generic motivational content. This is prophetic insight, biblical truth applied to your specific situation. Subscribing is about positioning yourself in a stream of revelation that will transform how you see yourself, your story, and your future. David wrote in the valley of the shadow of death, "I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Notice he did not say, "I will avoid the valley." He said, "Even when I walk through it, I will not fear because you are with me." The valley is not evidence of my absence. It is the location where my presence becomes most tangible. Some of you have been in valleys so dark you convinced yourself I had abandoned you. You cried out and heard nothing back. Let me take you to the Garden of Gethsemane where my son, Jesus, sweat drops of blood under the weight of what was coming. He asked if there was any other way, and I was silent. Not because I did not hear him, but because there was no other way to accomplish what needed to be done. My silence was not abandonment. It was the sound of a father watching his son endure necessary suffering to purchase redemption for the world. And 3 days later, that same silence gave way to resurrection power that shattered death forever. When I am silent in your suffering, it is not because I am absent. It is because I am working on something your current perspective cannot comprehend. In those moments when you felt completely alone, I was closer to you than your own breath. I was holding you together when everything in you wanted to fall apart. I was whispering strength into your spirit when your mind was screaming surrender. Remember Balaam, the prophet for hire that Balak brought in to curse Israel? Balak gave him everything he needed to pronounce curses that would weaken my people. And Balaam opened his mouth to curse. But what came out was blessing. He tried again from a different location. Blessing. He tried a third time. Blessing. Why? Because I had already decreed blessing over Israel, and no human curse, no demonic assignment, no witchcraft could override my word. There have been people who woke up every day with your name on their lips, speaking negativity over your life, praying against your success. There have been curses spoken in jealousy and rage, evil altars erected with your name attached to petitions for destruction, and none of it worked. Not because those people lacked power, but because I have already spoken blessing over you, and my word overrides every contrary declaration. You survived what should have killed you. You came through what should have broken you. Right now, type these words in the comments. No weapon formed against me will prosper because God fights my battles. This is not just a statement, it is a prophetic decree that reinforces the protection already in place. Think carefully about every close call you have had, every moment where disaster was 1 second away, and somehow you escaped. When I sent angels to pull Lot out of Sodom before I rained judgment on that city, I gave him one instruction: do not look back. But his wife could not let go of what she was leaving behind. She looked back at the life she was losing, and it cost her everything. She became a pillar of salt frozen in her backward glance. That relationship I removed you from before it destroyed you. Stop looking back at it. That job I closed the door on before it consumed your health. Let it go. Your backward glance is keeping you from seeing what I am building in front of you. I did not save you from destruction so you could waste your future mourning what I protected you from. The diagnosis that never came was not a false alarm. It was answered prayer from intercessors. You do not even know people I strategically placed in prayer rooms, on their knees at the exact time you were in danger, calling your situation by name even though they had never met you. I orchestrate these things. You are not making it through life on your own strength. You are being carried by a grace you cannot see, upheld by prayers you did not know were being prayed. Do not turn away now, because what I am about to tell you will eliminate fear from your future. You have been anxious about what is coming, worried about decisions you need to make, but I need you to understand that I am already there. I exist outside of time. Your future is as clear to me as your past, and just as I have been protecting you from dangers behind you, I am already positioning protection for dangers in front of you. Remember when I told Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac? It made no logical sense. Kill the very son through whom the promise was supposed to come. But Abraham trusted me enough to obey, and just as he raised the knife, I stopped him. I provided a ram caught in the thicket. I was testing Abraham's trust, and once he proved he would withhold nothing from me, I released the provision he needed. Some of what I am asking you to release right now feels like sacrifice. That plan you have been holding on to, that relationship you refuse to let go of, that control you keep trying to maintain. I am asking you to trust me enough to put it on the altar, and the moment you genuinely release it, the moment you stop fighting me for control, I will either give it back to you in a form that is healthy, or I will show you something better, that decision you are agonizing over. I already know which choice leads where. Pray, and I will give you peace about the right direction, that move you are considering. I already see what that city holds for you. Wait for my green light. That investment opportunity, I already see the fine print. If I say no, trust me, and if I say yes, move forward with confidence, knowing I have already vetted it. I know some of you are carrying crushing guilt about past decisions. You wonder how you could have been so blind, so foolish. The weight of that guilt has convinced you that you are disqualified from my blessing. Let me tell you about Peter, the disciple who swore he would never deny me. And then when I was arrested, Peter denied knowing me 3 times. He went out and wept bitterly, devastated by his own failure. But that was not the end of Peter's story. After my resurrection, I sought him out specifically. I did not shame him. I restored him. I asked him 3 times if he loved me, giving him the opportunity to affirm his love the same number of times he had denied me. And then I gave him the assignment to feed my sheep, to lead my church. Peter's failure did not disqualify him. It humbled him and ultimately positioned him for greater usefulness. Your mistakes do not disqualify you from my protection. They do not remove you from my care. I saw your failure coming before you made it, and I had already prepared a redemption plan. Even in your worst decisions, I was there already working on damage control, limiting the fallout, preparing your comeback. You are not the sum of your errors. You are covered by my grace. Before this revelation ends, I need you to participate in creating a memorial. Moses encountered me in a burning bush and took off his shoes because he realized he was standing on holy ground. That moment became a marker in his life, a point of reference he could return to every time he doubted whether he really heard from me. This message is your burning bush moment. Mark it by writing something in the comments. Complete this sentence. God saved me from, and then describe what you now understand I protected you from. When you write that testimony, you are not just sharing your story. You are building faith for someone else who is going through what you went through, who needs to know that the closed door they are facing is actually my hand of protection. Your testimony becomes their hope. Write it now. I have been your rear guard and your vanguard. Just as I went before the Israelites as a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, and also protected them from behind when Pharaoh's army pursued them, I surround you completely. Nothing gets to you without going through me first. Nothing touches you without my permission. You have not been lucky, you have been covered. You have not been strong, you have been carried. And now that your eyes are opening to see this reality, you will walk differently. You will pray differently. You will trust differently. You will stop panicking when doors close because you will remember they are closing for your protection. Like this message right now, that simple click is your way of saying, I receive this revelation. I believe you have been protecting me. I trust you with my future. When you like this, you amplify this truth to reach someone else who is moments away from giving up. And then share this video. Do not wait. There is someone specific in your circle who is under attack right now and does not realize it. They think it is just bad luck. Send this to them immediately. Become my messenger. When you share this, you partner with me in delivering revelation that has the power to transform how they see their entire story. I see you. I have always seen you. I know you. I have always known you. And I have been saving you from dangers you could not see because my love for you is not conditional on your awareness of it. I am who I am. I do what I do, and I will never stop fighting for you because you are mine, and what is mine stays mine forever.